There we go. So when you're drawing your mouth, or a mouth, again, just like we did with the eyes, start by drawing in guidelines. Do you guys have questions? Quiet, please. So start by drawing in little marks and dashes to figure out where things go. So what I did to start is I kind of looked, and you can do this with your face in the mirror too. I said, all right, the top to the bottom of the lips go from, if I make a top line right here, just make it, I'm going to make this kind of dark so you guys can see it in the overhead, but yours should be really light. And then I'm going to have another one that matches that same distance. So I said it's from the eraser to the bottom of the silver. I'm going to move that over here. I can use that as a comparison, and I can say 1, 2, it's about 3 over if I want, or I can just kind of do the whole pencil because I'm drawing on there. And from this one's a little hard to see, this corner, but I can then, and I'm going to include, I'm going to go up to about that little darker edge. And like we said before, there's basic proportions to each face. But, oops, now I moved it, that are general, that you should have already drawn out on your own self-portrait. But everybody's are a little different. Some people's are a little wider, a little narrower. So make a line with your pencil from the corner of your mouth up to your eye and see where it actually hits. Does it really hit at your eye, at your pupil if you're looking straight ahead, or where does that change? Now I'm going to take this piece of paper, and I'm going to fold it because it gives you kind of an indication of what it's like to see two lips. We've drawn cylinders, we've drawn objects, we've talked about lots of things that go back to being a basic form. Well, think of your lips almost like two cylinders, and the light tends to come from above and hit, and then you're going to have a highlight, and this is a very bright light, so it's not quite the same. And then you're going to have more of a shadow in the crease, and on the one below it, if the light is coming directly from above, and then it's here. So you tend to have like a light, a dark. The lightest part of your lips tends to be that center of your lips here, and then it gets darker underneath again. So if we look at Obama's lips, it's a little darker here because that's angling down. The highlight is right about here. Let's focus that a little bit. And then it's going to actually get dark again. So it's like these two rounded parts. Now they're not perfect cylinders, obviously, because there's changes in those different parts that way. So if I look at this, I'm going to start by drawing. There's actually a muscle here. I'm almost drawing that muscle, because if you look at this edge, it sticks out a little bit, and that's what helps your mouth move. Your mouth comes to a corner, to a crease in the end, and then this comes up. And everybody has this little divot. We think of it as being a feminine thing because women emphasize it with their lipstick, but everybody has it. And then this comes here. My center line's not quite center. And this comes over on him. This is pretty straight. This almost curves in and up a little bit. And then we have that little divot right there. I'm going to take out that dark line because I don't need it anymore. Now I'm drawing these outlines lightly. Again, these are a little darker so you can see them, but yours should be very, very light because there's no outline on your lips. Unless you're wearing lip liner, your lips should only show edges by changes in value, not by outline. Now, this could be a little bit lower, I think. And this crease is not a line either. It should look like it can open. It should look like it's about to open, so you're actually going to end up shading it and giving it more of like an area of depth, like a little thin line of depth or area of depth as opposed to a line. Now here again, there's a little muscle here, so your lip kind of comes out and in. Some people it's more fuller here, but they're not just like placed on your face. They're a continuation of the skin. So you want to try and make this look like a continuation of the skin. And they might not even be perfectly symmetrical this way. Here's all dark, so it's a little even hard to see where that goes. Now, so his lips are here, but there's still this. And notice these lines. As you get older, there'll be more lines around your mouth. The laugh lines, they call them. Hopefully they're laugh lines and not like angry lines. But I'm going to draw in this little dark edge here. I'm going to darken here, and you see how there's actually, it's a thicker edge here and then thinner. So that comes down, but this is thicker.
Hey, Joe, Arola.
Joe? There you go. So then I go here. Yep. Joe, or Joel. Joel, sorry, there you go. So then this is here. This is here. I go this way. And I get that like thickness in there. And now I want to show the difference in values. Remember, when we shade with value, either go to the end of your pencil or 4 fingers on top, so you keep your pressure light. And now I need to make the value come up to that edge. So I'm using the side of my pencil. I'm going to go, it's a little darker in these corners. So I go a little bit darker here. And my shading should follow my form. So as I draw this edge here, I'm going to come up here. Here it's darker again, so I'm going this way. Darkening, a little more pressure, building layers, so I still keep that same softness to my mark. And then as I get on this side of it, this is actually darker than this, so I'm comparing values. The answers to how to make this look are here, not over here. So spend more time looking at your subject or looking at yourself in the mirror than you would spend looking at this piece here. So I'm going to go like so. I'm going to darken up here. And then notice right above his lip, there's actually a highlight. So you can do that a couple different ways. You can leave a little space and come up. I have a hard time leaving the space leaving that space just plain, because I tend to, get in there and shade too much. This is darker here. Now this is actually darker here. So I'm going to come up here and darken that. I'm just going to indicate where that goes. We all have this crease above our lip too. Again, this is the muscle structure underneath your skin. That is giving it this form. So then I'm going to lighten over here. And I'm going to keep building up this value. Notice I'm looking at the direction of my shading, so it follows the direction of the form. This needs to go a little darker. And because of the texture of this paper, it gets a little bit harder to see the differences. So let me see if I can darken that a little bit for you. And then here, this tends to be the lightest part on the lips, right underneath here. So there's a value there. It's not white, but I need to keep it really light. Now once I get to about this point, I'm trying to see what's what. I'm getting all these different values in here. I'm trying to keep my shading a little bit, like keeping my pencil moving lightly and kind of randomly so that I don't get one specific like rows of shading. And I just keep checking the value next in my original so that I get the different values in there all the same. And then it gets darker over here. I keep checking my... Now it's getting a little too dark in spots, isn't it? That happens. So I'm going to go in with my eraser and just lift a little. And then to get that highlight, I'm going to come back in here. And I'm going to go like this. And pull that out. Now it tends to be, look at that, it's a little bit too thick. So, whoops. I'm just going to come back in here and go in there. This is really light here, and then this darkens over here. So I'm trying to show the form of the skin, how it moves around the face to get these different values. Now, I tend to like the texture of it, and I tend to leave it with the texture of the pencil. You're welcome to do that. I know some of you have used the blended tortillons before and prefer that, so I'm going to show you that next. I use the side of the tortillon, or my blending stick, and I tend to start in the lighter areas. Again, I'm blending with the direction of my form. And it's just going to give it a little bit of a softer feel to blend that in. So I'm going to keep drawing this for a minute. You're welcome to continue on yours if you want to watch a little more, give you a little more of a hint on there about like what's coming up next. And then after I blend, I find I got to go back and do my darks a little more. But there should be, your lips are not a separate entity. They're part of your face and your skin. So make sure as you're drawing them, show the edges with changes in value, not with line. See if you can get that to work for you there. I'm going to go back in and darken things that need to be a little bit darker. And I'm going to go back in and pull my highlights out. So there you go. Questions? Okay. Thank you.